everybody, and welcome to This Week in Star Wars Unlimited, or TWIS for short. I'm Langer, and we've got lots of things to discuss. We had a FFG live stream with Gamegenic announcing new products for Set 3 earlier in the week. We have new competitive tiers announced on StarWarsUnlimited.com. We got spoilers this week. We're in spoiler season for the jump to Lightspeed, so we got new leaders, new units, new events, so on and so forth. And of course, we are wrapping up week 3 of planetary qualifiers for Set 3. So let's get into all the news and information. Starting off with the Gamegenic announcements, like I said, there was a live stream with FFG, I'll link below, where they showed new tokens, they showed the damage pad, they showed new deck pods, and a whole bunch of other things that we'll kind of briefly go over here, or at least hit the highlights. So first up, they are re-releasing the premium tokens. This is their acrylic tokens that they've had since, well, if you could find them since the game released, but they have made much improvements to them. First off, they're going to be double-sided, specifically on the damage counter. So instead of having 1 5s and 10s, sounds like you're going to have 1s flips with 3s and 5s flips with 10, which is going to make the management of all these tokens on your game mat so much easier. But it also looks like the shield tokens, the experience tokens, all those are going to be double-sided as well. But I think the key win here is the damage tokens, and they definitely kept saying that they heard user feedback and they made that change. So while I don't want to buy another set of tokens, I'm glad to see this, and I'll definitely be swooping up a box. Next up, we have the damage pad. This is going to be used for your base. It covers up the original hit points. If you look in the picture, the base kind of slides in there, and it's got like a little dial. The hit points are actually exactly where it is printed on the card, and you got a dial that you can spin, obviously up or down. We count up in this game, as everybody has probably learned over the weeks. But it goes from 0 to 49. They're very keen to call out that it's future-proof. So right now the highest base is 30. I'm assuming down the road, maybe we'll see some 35s and some 40s. Who knows as the game continues, but just know that apparently this will have you set if you go with the damage pads. And these are only going to cost about $15. So we'll see what these look like in person. They look pretty cool. They had a card in there and they shook it around. Nothing fell out. So that was pretty neat. In the bottom left, you'll see they've got the Premium Card Port XL. This is a 24 pocket binder. So this is for those that really want to bling out their storage. Like me, I'm a hobby in the hobby guy. I like storage stuff. These are specifically designed, even though they didn't call it out, to fit in Swedish shelving, square shelvings. Everybody, I'm sure, knows that these are talking about IKEA Calyx. I've got some just sitting over here in my closet as well. But they're going to both fit horizontal or vertical and horizontal, when you're gonna be able to get 3 units in a box. So that's pretty cool. What's not cool, I think, is the price tag on these. I think they're going to start around $65 US. I'm not up to speed on my binder game, if that's what that track's like, but I don't know. That doesn't pass my sniff test, but I need to see them, feel the quality, see what they feel like, and they might be worth the spin. And finally, something we're going to talk about is the Twin Suns deck pods. So these are new deck pods that are coming out. They're going to hold up to, I believe they said 100 cards for those that are into the Twin Suns format. And how they're going to do that is, you can see the picture. The boxes are a little bigger than normal. It does say Twin Suns and Arbesh on the bottom, but how the cards are stored is different compared to like the existing deck pods, or the single deck pods, where the cards are kind of stacked like pancakes. They're mounted on their side, right? So it's more of a side mounted thing. That's how they're getting all the cards in there. But additionally to that, if you look at the image, you can kind of see different cards above each of the aspects. They're going to release hyperspace alt cards based off the color of deck pod that you get. So Command's going to get Echo Base, Vigilance going to get Dagobah, so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool. Alt art hyperspace. And if you do a hero or villainy, you're going to get shield and experience tokens alt arts there. So just something kind of neat for the Twin Sun players out there, as well as folks that want to chase some alternate card art. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not a Twin Suns guy yet, but we'll see if I pick any of these up, because the Echo Base Defender card art to me looks amazing. It's got a laser turret and the stuff. So anyways, I think it's great. Let me switch to a screen really quick, just so you can kind of see everything else that's coming out. So there are game mats that are themed for the set. You can see there they've got this Millennium Falcon map. That's going to be a wider mat. Which will be interesting to see how that plays out, just because table space always seems to be a premium, at least in my LGS. They've got a massive 4-player Twin Suns map that you can see there in the lower left. And of course, they're going to have all the soft crates, sleeves, all that other stuff that comes out with every set that's kind of set themed, as you can see on. So that covers it for the Gamegenic announcements. Next thing, like I said, we got a blog post on StarWarsUnlimited.com, link below, where they're talking about the new competitive tiers, or the additional competitive tiers to add to the system, which are sector qualifiers and the regional qualifiers. They're both very similar, just one's basically larger than the other one. So we'll start with the sector qualifiers. These are going to be large scale multi-day events, so 2 days, day 1, day 2 kind of things. They're going to start with 4 of these in April. Now that's going to be 4 of these globally, so we'll see how they kind of sprinkle these out the globe, between, EMEA, North America, maybe APAC. We'll see how that lands. But this format's going to be day 1 is Swiss. And if you finish with a record of 5-2 or better, of course, you will make it into day 2. And then day 2 will be Swiss until you get into a top 8 cut. Now, what will you actually be getting for all this competitive game playing? Well, the grand prize, you're going to be guaranteed a spot at day 2 in the Galactic Championships, which we all know are going to be held in July here in Las Vegas in the States. But beyond that, all attendees are going to get the Alt Art Obi-Wan Kenobi card, which I'll be showing here in a second. You get a canvas tote, participation game mat, and a sector qualifier medal initiative counter. If you make it into day 2, you'll earn the Alt Art Kylo Ren card. If you're a top 64, you're going to get extra booster packs. Top 8 and better will earn the Alt Art Kylo cards with your placement, kind of like what you've seen at the showdown. So top 8, top 4, finalists, so on and so forth. As well as you're going to get a game mat for your final placement. And then you'll get a special medal for the champion and the finalist. Now, it says special medal. I don't know what that is. It doesn't say initiative counter token, so maybe it's just actually going to be a medal. Be kind of cool if it'd be like the medal ceremony from the end of episode 1, A New Hope, where, all the rebels are standing up there and taking a bow. But anyways, I digress. But let's move on to the regional qualifiers. So these are basically bigger than the sector qualifiers, meaning they're saying they're going to target over 2,000 players or up to over 2,000 players. So that's a lot of bodies playing Star Wars Unlimited. Again, the structure will be the same. Day 1 is Swiss. Day 2 will be Swiss with a top cut. But there will only be 2 of these. So unlike the sectors where there's going to be 4, there's only going to be 2 of these. So it'll be really interesting again to see where these take place on the globe, both how centrally located on what side of the globe you're on, to see how many folks they can drive to these events. All participants will get the Alt Art Emperor Palpatine card, game mat, tote bag, a custom lanyard, a little extra bonus there, a medal initiative counter, a soft crate, and game sleeves themed after Admiral Piet. Little spoiler here, that's one of the leaders we're going to be talking about soon. But again, same format. Like I talked about, if you're 5-2, you advance to day 2. If you do, you get an Alt Art Ray card. The top 128 get additional booster packs. Top 8 will get the placement Ray card, Alt Art Ray cards again, top 8, top 4, final, so on and so forth, and a game mat of your placement. And then it says semifinals and above will get a custom plaque. So semifinals, so I guess that would be the top 4. I would assume you're going to get some sort of custom plaque, which would be pretty cool. You can, I don't know, hang on your office wall or show it off to your buddies. I'm not sure what you're going to do with that. But the top 8 will be guaranteed a spot for the day 2 in the Galactic Championship. That's pretty cool. So the top 8, because it's such a large event, pretty much the best of the best minus who's going to the Galactic Championship. So that's a great reward. And I like to see how they're upping the swag game on these events as far as what you're going to get for participating, as well as if you place. But one thing they did not say is what's the price of these events. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know, maybe 40, 50 bucks an entry fee. I don't know. I can't see it being less than that, but maybe I'm off base. Love to hear everybody else's thoughts in the comments below. And here's the card art. I love this mat with Admiral Piet staring off into the Death Star. You see the soft crate in the lower left. You see the card sleeves in the right, but of course all themed after the game mat. And then you see the Rey and the Emperor Palpatine alt art cards, which I think both look great. Obviously, the Rey and the Kylo are fighting in that throne room, taking when they were getting ready to take off Snoke. Moving on, we have, like I said, we have entered set 4 spoiler season. So this week we did get some new leaders and some new units. And I'm not going to do full breakdowns of all these because this video would be very extremely long for that. So I'm going to just kind of flash up what we got on the screen just so everybody kind of sees what they are. So we did get 3 new leaders this week. Like I said, we got Admiral Piet, we got Admiral Akbar, and we got, I guess we'll call him Old Lando since we already had a Lando Calrissian in the Shadows of the Galaxy. Moving on for cunning cards, we got Blade Squadron B-Wing. It's a Trap. Who doesn't love saying that? We got a new home one, just with a different color combo. This is a legendary 8/9 with ambush. So this will be kind of nasty. And then we've got an independent smuggler, which is a common pilot. What's a 1/1 raid 1? Pretty basic there. On the aggro side, we got 2 legendaries released this week or this past week. We got the Devastator, which is just going to be a nasty card. I love the way it's kind of glowing on here. This is going to let you kind of use the player of this card as opposed to your opponent, how you're going to indirect damage for those burn decks. So that'll be interesting. Planetary Bombardment basically plays into this card because if you have a capital ship in play, you get 12 indirect damage. So imagine if you have 12 indirect damage and you have Devastator, you get a control where that goes. It's just going to be super nasty. And then we got a Red Squadron Y-Wing, which is a common card. On the Vigilance side, we got Banshee. We got Fleet Interdictor. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. So comments below. That's kind of a weird name. We got Academy Graduate, which to me looks like a TIE Fighter pilot, but it's not a villainy card. It's a Vigilance card, which is kind of interesting. We got Gold Leader, which is not the Millennium Falcon per se, but it is the Millennium Falcon. I really love the card art on here. I think it looks great. And then we got Cassian Andor, who's a pilot unit, grounder pilot unit. And I think Cassian, first card in the game to have a leader in 2 unit cards, as far as I know. So that's pretty cool. Good for Cassian. Great TV show. I can't think of any other folks that have 3 cards yet. Besides that, we go to command cards, and I have bundled in the villainy because there's only a single villainy card. But we got Resupply Carrier, which will be great with Admiral Piet because if you look at it, it's a capital ship, so you can play it 1 round sooner, but it's also a way to top resources, so it's a ramp card, even though that's pretty cool. Red Leader, we got another Invisible Hand, so we now have 2 Invisible Hands in the game. 9 Numb, which is great, another pilot. He's a rare. And then we got the Quasar TIE Carrier ship, which is a common card, and it basically lets you create a type token. So that's all the cards that were released this week. Again, kind of pause, read through them yourself. Like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time reading that because this video is long. And to wrap everything up, let's talk about week 3 of the planetary qualifiers. There was 20 events globally. At the time I recorded this, there was 2 that had yet to report. So these numbers could skew a little bit, but I mean, we're pretty much all the way there. There was 5 of them with over 100 players, which I think is great. I think that shows hopefully the strength of this game and how it's going. I know up in the Pacific Northwest, the Portland PQ, which I wasn't able to attend, unfortunately, had the max of 126 players, which I think is great. I'm at the Seattle PQ this coming weekend, so we'll see if we can match that. I think Paris had 116, or maybe that was Dallas, but Dallas, like, there's a lot of places with over 100, so that's awesome. The key takeaway from here, I won't spend time on it, is Mono Han is king. Out of all of the top 8s, Mono Han took 20 spots out of a total of 144. If you do the math, that's basically 14%. So well represented. He did have 4 first place finishes. So all those folks, maybe if you, depending on how much you follow the competitive scene, last week were saying, oh, Sabine should be banned next. You know, she's overpowered, whatever. You know, Han comes in and basically cleans up this week. But with that said, if you go through SWU Competitive Hub, which I'll link below, it's a great website that's basically consolidates and brings all this information together. Minus all the Han, you'll see tons of different decks in the meta. Portland, for example, the PQ in my area. I mean, there was 3 Django Tarkin towns in the top 8. There's Boss Green was winning a lot of events. So, like a Boss is out there doing work. There was a Krennic Green that took second in another PQ. So the banning of Boba from from set 2 or at the end of set 2, I think was a great move by FFG. I'm sure that didn't make a lot of folks happy, but it just unlocked the meta so much. Even though Han is still winning, I mean, it's still 14%. That was still nowhere near where Boba was. Boba was almost pushing 40%, if I remember right, in her high 30s. So much to the point where I just got sick of sitting down and saying, "Oh, you're playing Boba, great." You just kind of got sick of seeing the same things. But anyways, moving on. Just Planetary Qualifier. If you want to take a look, I'll link the website Swoo Competitive Hub down below, where he's got all the links, the melee links, everything, so you can kind of see where things are at. But with that, that is everything to know for this week in Star Wars Unlimited. I want to thank you for watching, and until the next time, I hope you have a great day.